Hello there. Welcome to Laser Focus Solutions Media. Christopher Godwin here, your host, coming at you. And today I wanted to discuss with you how important it is to prep your rooms when you go to paint and just do your due diligence prior to putting the new paint on the walls. Now, why do I say this? Well, we have a client who got windows replaced in their home, and they decided they wanted to change the dimensions of the windows. So just picture the windows being up here a little bit more horizontal, and they weren't quite, as picturesque, let's call it, right? So this client bought this home existing, had a nice view, and she said, no, I don't like the windows that are up, three-quarters up and going more horizontal. I want floor to ceiling so I can have a nice view out of my home and all the windows in the home. So there was about 7, I think, total, give or take. So we've been one room at a time, been taking on this project where we're going in and we're finishing the drywall that was put in by others. And then we're painting the ceilings, painting the walls and the trim, and then moving on to the next. So we're now in our third room of this house. And each room we treat as if it's a new job, meaning that we'll go out there and we will scuff the walls down. We'll prep the walls with we'll use 5-minute mud, we'll use 20-minute mud, 90-minute set, whatever we feel is needed at the time. So, we get out there and we start applying our patchwork, mud work, and it didn't look right. I mean, and I don't know if anybody out there does mud work every day. Certainly something that I don't do every day, but I've been around for years doing it in many of my own personal homes as well as a few others. And I say a few, I don't count, right? But I've never seen mud do what it did. So we use the dry compound mud. When you mix it with water, it's a 2-part, right? And then it starts to harden. So the 5, 20, and then 45 and 90 is just that, right? It's when it's supposed to set. Now you're not ready to go on to your next to paint ready in 5 minutes or 20 minutes or 90 minutes. That's not the case, but it is certainly way faster than what you'll see at your box stores. Your Home Depots and Lowe's, they'll have the green lid, the blue lid, and the purple lid, right? So we use the dry mix for several reasons. It's more of a concrete base. It sets harder, and it's not as easily to crack, right? That's one of the reasons why I've personally used it. I don't know the science behind it, but my what I've learned from other leaders and other mentors is that this is what you do. So as we're setting and making our drywall patches, because again, previously the owner had somebody else put the drywall in, but there was no tape or no patch, no nothing done. So we started to apply mud in just different areas, and then we went to move on to the patchwork, and it just did not look good. So at that point, we kind of stopped. We went back, and we just started kind of really trying to understand what was going on with this, right? And this is the value of having great partners. So in Middletown, Delaware, I pride myself in having an account with Tile Market for my tile, Sherwin-Williams for my paint. You know what I mean? So we have a bathroom company that we're a distributor that we're getting ready to sign on with, instead of going through the box stores to buy, your Glacier Bay product. Which will be another video that I'll do at some point about the product styles and what's the word I'm trying to think of? So quality, that's a good word, right? So I basically went back to the wall with a razor knife and just a drywall mud knife, and I started to kind of pick at it just to see what exactly, and the why is my compound not adhering to the wall. And it was almost like it was starting to bubble and even wrinkle the existing paint that was on the wall. And I was like, okay, well, it's not the new drywall that's doing this. This is actually the existing wall. So why? So I picked up the phone and I called Sherwin-Williams and I said, hey, got one for you. It's got me stumped, looking to see if you can give me some guidance, right? And again, I go back to having relationships with great partners and great companies like Sherwin-Williams. So I had, a conversation with the store manager there. The outside rep was actually at the facility as well. And he said he would meet me on site the next morning. which how much better can you get than that, right? So next morning we meet out on site. We sit down, and well, I walk into the room. Sorry, walk into the room, and we show him what we're seeing, and he says, "Chris, it looks like this wall had wallpaper on it before or something, because this is just picking, not just where you're putting the mud, but if you go over and just pick at it with a razor knife and peel it off, it comes in big clumps, small clumps. There's no real consistency behind it. But what we learned was when we went around the electrical outlets, that's when it told us the story that yes, there was definitely wallpaper on the wall because there was some little chunks left behind. So then that really started to help our discovery because we didn't know if it was moisture in the walls, right? We didn't know if there was oil-based paint used previously or some kind of asbestos or something or what I mean, I'm just saying asbestos because I don't even know, right? The house is older. So what am I dealing with? I don't even know. Okay. And how can I best address this and give the client a good solution if I don't even know? That's why I called in Sherwin-Williams. So we discovered at that point that there was indeed wallpaper. And then we kind of walked ourselves into, okay, this is what we're dealing with. We have a clear issue with some residual, glue still on the wall. And when it was previously painted by others, that never got a good bond to the wall. And really, it's just a face coat that's being held together by the glue. And at some spots, yeah, it's not like you could just grab it and pull it and the whole sheet comes off. No, it's little flakes here and there. So we have to go back to that client now and we have to say to them, listen, we're going to stop work and we're going to rediscuss what this is going to look like, because it's to your best interest that we don't continue to give you the paint job that you think you're going to get, because you're not going to get that, right? We can throw paint over top. I could shellac the walls. I could prime the walls. I could skim coat mud the walls. Okay. There's tons of ideas that I could throw out there that while they sound great on paper, it's not going to get the results and the quality that I'm willing to walk away from, right? As a home repair, remodeling handyman out of Middletown, Delaware, it's going to have a good name on it when I leave. And I stand by that. So I went back to the client and I explained to her this exact thing. And she thanked me. She actually apologized. She said, I thought there was something weird with this room. I want to hang a picture once and moved it or something or whatever. And the paint did this almost the same thing to me. And I thought that was very strange. She goes, but I was just thinking maybe the walls need primed. I'm so glad that you did some more work, because she actually said, can you please make sure you prime these walls, which is what we were going to do anyway, with all the mud work we were doing. But it didn't make any sense for us to do the prime work because it wasn't going to give her what she wants. She thought she knew what she wanted, right? She thought the primer needed to go on to give her a good, finished coat. So why am I saying all this? Right? I'm saying this for a couple of reasons. Even when you hire a professional, sometimes we come across discovery things like this, right? This is a new thing for me. Okay. What's the value of hiring someone like Laser Focus Solutions? Okay. We cost more. I guarantee you there's prices that I've had customers tell me you're not the cheapest, and I don't want to be the cheapest. Okay. I want to make a living. I want to pay my bills based on the size of the business that I need to be and the demands that I have. And I want to make a profit. And you as a customer want me to make a profit because that very satisfaction guarantee that I provide, that warranty, all those things, you want me to be in business when you need me to come back. And I have had a few customers call and say, hey, something's going on. I need you to return. Okay. And I go back and I figure it out. Right. So that's what you want. The worst thing you want is to discount your vendor down to a price that he can't stabilize his business and keep the cash flow going to maintain his business operations. And then you see it all the time where, have you ever bought a gift card for someone at a store, or have you ever bought a warranty for a product at a store, and then you go to get that gift card and cash it in and it's like, sorry, doors closed, no good, and no one's honoring that. So that's where we, as the general public, have to understand where the value is, right? I'm not looking to retire or buy a beach house on any one job. I am looking to pay my bills. I am looking to buy future tools and products to make future jobs better. So when I come back to your house, I'm better prepared to do those jobs. That comes at a cost, right? And then there's all the other things that we talk about as well. So I know I went on a little tangent. I know I got off record, off track, or whatever on the why this is important for the painting. But I also wanted to just share that, hey, this customer came to me and said, I'm sorry that you have to deal with this. Let me know what the price is going to be. And obviously, I'm going to approve it. I just want to know ahead of time before we move forward. Okay. And I love that. I love that conversation because it wasn't like, well, you did it or you started it or you own it or da 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 da. It's a relationship. Okay. And I've earned that conversation by starting off at her home, fixing one patch and fixing a soffit under a porch. And from there, it was like, wow, you really are above the other companies that I've been involved with in my life. And you really are somebody that I trust to be in my home to do these projects that I have around here to do. Come with me. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I have other things in here, not just that one patch. So you never know. I don't know if that was a test, probably, or maybe that's all she had at first and then realized, hey, let's keep this thing going. I don't know. All I know is that I started off with a patch and a soffit fix, and I'm on room number 4 that's getting ready to take on its whole new life to it, right? And then after that, I'm going to look at 2 bathroom remodels in the same exact house. So for me, this is where the benefit of a value add conversation as a home repair company owner out of Middletown, Delaware, that I have with my clients. And then in return, they want to give me more work. And that's a good problem to have, right? The loyalty is there, the trust is there, and I'm not going nowhere. Like, I live in this town. I believe in what we're building. We are just getting started. Like, I mean, it's crazy how this month has just turned, and it's just the potential that's out there and the work that's coming in and the clients that say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, thinking about doing that. And then boom, all of a sudden the phone rings or you get a text message or an email and it's like, let's go, let's move forward. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. So, I mean, we got a deck job we're trying to finish up. We had rain and, I'm just trying to get this thing closed out for his wonderful client. You know, we got a drywall job for a repeat customer that we're doing some pull permits to add a bedroom, bedroom number 6, I think it is, in the home. Getting that thing on the schedule. We had to order some insulation. We had to get some stuff going with another vendor. Got that going. Several paint jobs, several, just tons of work that's coming out. And like I said, I need to throttle it back sometimes. What I really need help with is the estimating side of things. I can't do it all. So that's something I'm trying to get, intentional about being better with my clients, expecting a fast turnaround when it comes to my estimates. Most all of them are understanding that I am the guy out there also turning the wrenches. So it's very challenging to have a work-life balance if I'm working out there for 8 hours and then I'm going home, trying to spend time with my family, and then also do the quotes like that too. Again, I signed up for this, right? I get it. It's what I signed on for, but I have to also have a little bit of peace of mind and clock out every once in a while. So I got to get better with turning things around. And it's a challenge because not everything's cookie cutter, right? I'm not saying that Christmas light companies or pressure washing companies or gutter companies have it easier, right? Is it repetitive? Yes. Is it maybe easier to estimate? Could be. There could be a lot of different side, estimate options or whatever. But just in general conversation, a drywall patch, right? There's 6 different ways I could price that out. Okay. And I had a client actually just this week told me my price was too high. He didn't think, not too high from a competitor, just too high what he thought it was going to be. Now, mind you, this was a 12-foot plus vaulted ceiling. Highest point was probably 16 feet. A-frame exposed, right? Drywall. So he had right down the bottom area of that, about 12 feet up, he had a leak and he wanted me to fix it. And I said, okay, well, I can fix that. I'm going to need to remove the drywall, patch it, and then we're going to need to paint this whole ceiling because I'm not going to be able to blend this ceiling paint, right? It doesn't work that way. So in order to do it right, you should paint the ceiling in that area, not the whole house, but just that area. So I gave a price based on me needing 2 men to go out and do that job properly and safely. And he was like, man, thanks, but no thanks. That price is a little bit way more than I thought it was going to be. Right. That's fine. I simply just said, I'm sorry, we're not in line. Appreciate the opportunity. Okay. I don't know that he's going to get a price cheaper. Maybe, but in the price point of home that he's in, I don't know that he wants to go much cheaper. I actually worry. I mean, what's he going to get if he does get cheaper? I mean, I have a Festool sander. Okay, it's a $1,600 piece of equipment that I purchased, and I come into your home with a 97% HEPA filtration system that's going to not put any dust residue in your ductwork, in the air, or anything, and you'll never have to worry about that. You know, I have ladders, I have tarps, I have all those things, right? We come in and will wear booties if you want us to. We're prepared to service you in a way that most, um, unfortunately, most don't. I don't know what else to say. I'm a customer too, so trust me, I've called companies out, right? So the ones that do it are the ones I'm trying to be like. The ones that do it have been around, and they're getting value for their prices and such. So maybe that's my fault for not selling the value with that client. It was a first touch with that client, but at the same time, I can't win them all either, right? And sometimes getting a no is a good thing for me, because maybe I didn't want that business, in this time, right? I'm very, very busy, and I need to make sure I take on good work that's going to, again, be profitable, and help me continue to grow. Uh, and so I get back to the 6 different ways to price it. I could price these things again. Some customers, I had one with a shelf that fell, and he was like, well, "How much just to throw mud over it? I don't even want you to sand it, right?" And it's so tough because I don't even know that I want to sign on to that, because then what happens is that, say he has a friend or a neighbor or somebody come over, and they open the closet to hang their coat or something, and they're like, "Oh, who did your drywall work?" "Oh, I had some handyman home repair guy named Laser Focus Solutions come out and do it." "Oh my God, I'll never use him. That looks like crap." Well, you just don't know, right? And it's so hard to figure out, how to provide the product and the quality that you want, but also give the customer what they want. So in that case, I did actually do that shelf. I did actually run some mud over it, and I did not sand it. I did my best to make it look decent, but then I drove away, and that's when I had that epiphany, like, wait a minute, you just drove off of a site that has your name on it forever. Like, you just put that mud on that wall, and while you made that customer, excuse me, happy, what's that going to look like for your image and for your brand and for your label? Like, is that the quality of work that you want to drive away from? You know what I mean? So it's so tough. It's so tough. So I'm going to end on that. Like I said, I just felt like I'd share the painting situation. I know I got a little sidetracked, a little sidebar. Sometimes I don't have much to talk about, and I'm struggling to reach, especially when I'm doing a video one a day. But today, for whatever reason, my squirrel ADHD brain just spit out like 5 or 6 different things that I could go on and on and on about. So I don't even know where we are on the minutes, but I appreciate you for listening. Appreciate you for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because we are on our way, folks. I went from 7 subscribers to 15, thanks to Millennial Mike. Millennial Mike is a phenomenal friend, and I went on his channel, and he said to me, "Chris, people are going to like your video, and you're going to need to comment back. You're going to need to do the right thing, and you're on your way." And man, was he right. So I appreciate that, man. I appreciate all of you. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end. So stay tuned for tomorrow's video. We'll come back at you again with some more content and see what we can teach.